Tight bond wood glues, quietly keeping woodworking projects together for over 70 years.
I've got a project cooking in the shop today. In fact, it's kind of a cooking project. I'm working on a barbecue cart, making one exactly like this one. So a couple things here. I want to make sure that I get a good glue on this because this barbecue cart's going to live outside next to a barbecue grill. Also want to make sure that when I put the slats in this frame, just like the slats that are in this frame, that everything was equally spaced so this looks real nice when it's done. So a couple tricks I'm going to show you there to make sure that if you make a cart like this or any piece of outdoor furniture, you can use these tricks in your shop and make sure that your projects are cooking along just like this barbecue cart's going to be for me. Let's talk about adhesive first. This is a piece of outdoor furniture. It's going to live outside, but it's not going to be submerged in water. I'm not building a boat here. So what I really want is an adhesive that is water resistant. I want to make sure that my glue selection for this is one that matches the needs. Now, here's where I'm at so far. What I've done is I have put on the two outer slats. Those are already glued and stapled in place. What I'm ready to do next is to get all the slats in between these. Now this is an adhesive that tacks fairly quickly. So I don't want to be messing around with spacing and slats after I get glue on. I want to make sure I have all my ducks in a row, all my slats in a row, before I get the first bit of glue on here. So I'm going to show you a trick that's going to help you make sure that the spacing is absolutely perfect between every slat. Here's what I'm going to do to make this happen. With the two outer slats already fixed in place, I'm going to take my remaining slats and put them all into the opening here. And I've got them all tucked to that side. Now, that leaves me a gap here on my end of this thing. And what I'm going to do is measure the size of that gap. Then I'm going to divide that by the number of spaces I'm trying to create. So in this case, 7 slats, I've got 6 spaces. So I take my measurement divided by 6. That tells me exactly how much space I need in between each slat. The next step will be cut a spacer to that size and test it, make sure everything's going to work okay. Over at my table saw, I ripped a bunch of spacers. So in this case, the math came out to 3/8 of an inch. So I cut some long 3/8 inch strips, then I cut them into these shorter pieces so I could use them for spacers here. Now before you do any glue, remember this glue tacks fairly quickly, let's make sure that these are right. So the test is put spacers in, then a slat. Spacers in, then a slat. I'm going to do this all the way across and make sure that everything works out just right. On the last one, my test is, do the spacers just slip in there? If they do, then you know you have the spacing right. If they don't, you have to go back and change your table saw setting, make a bigger or slightly smaller spacer. Don't just change one spacer, change the whole bank so that spacing is uniform from slat to slat all the way down. Well, my spacing set, I got the right glue on hand for this, so I'm all set to put everything together. In all honesty, you only need multiple spacers for the test. Once you know it's right, you really only need 2, because what I'm going to do is glue one slat, staple one slat, then I can move on, use those same spacers on the next one all the way across. Well, this frame is really looking good. The spacing's nice and uniform across here. And for my benefit, I wasn't running around in a sweat trying to figure out what the spacing would be once I had glue on, worried about the tack time of the glue getting away from me. So projects like this, you know, there's a lot at stake here. You want to make sure that the spacing is right, you got all your ducks in a row and your slats in a row, you're using the right glue, and you'll be serving up cool projects like this out of your shop also.